Alright, g'day everyone. Okay, back on the WB again. And I don't know if I mentioned this previously. I was showing the other side, but I'm wanting to fire up my new engine, and I concluded that I can't get the carby distributor and everything on until I've painted this firewall. But then, I was going to go ahead and do it. I bought the paint and everything, but I didn't realise that, when I did these panels, I didn't sort of realise I put the door on them, but it's way off. The other side's not too bad. The other side's a little bit close. So I'm going to have to trim that up a little bit, trim that back a bit, bring it down a bit, match the door, get the gap even. But the other side's way off, and I can't paint in here because I got to weld this. It's going to burn all paint off on the underside. So in order to do that, in order to paint that, to continue with my engine, I've got to mock up the entire front end and get these panels finished. This is a patch, and it's pretty lousy. I did a pretty rough job. I think I'm going to cut that whole piece out, actually, redo it. I said I got to bring it out to match the door anyway. And that rust hole went right up underneath here, as you can see. It was pretty major. If you got one of these H model cars and you got a hole here, you can be absolutely certain there's an even bigger one underneath. And that's the reason for cutting these all off. And I mean, what I really should have done is taken this whole plate off, but major job. Taking out all the spot welds all along here, all along there. I didn't want to do that, that's why I just cut it out. Anyway, it'll clean up all right. But I got to redo this, and I'm not happy with the panel, the patch panel I put in there, so I'm going to redo that as well. But anyway, in the process of putting all the guards, bonnet, everything on, and I'll probably mention before, but I'll mention it again. What you got to do with these cars when you get your guards on, and you got to bolt your guards on to put the bonnet on, because the hinges go onto the guards, or fenders that you call them in America. But so you've got to put your whole radiator support panel on, get your guards on. Probably actually need to put the front panel on too, because that's got to line up with the guards. Get your bonnet on, and then you line your bonnet up with the body. That's your starting point. The bonnet has to line up with this panel here. Once you've got that straight, you can then bring your guards or fenders in to match the bonnet, and same with your front panel. But that's where it begins. It begins with lining a bonnet up with the body. Same with here. You've got to have your doors matched to the body at the back. You can have your gaps right all the way around before you can match your guard up to the door. See, all that's adjustable. The doors are adjustable, but it's got to begin with matching what is not adjustable. So anyway, but in the process of putting the guards on, I put these flute panels in, 15 years ago or something. And I did a pretty rough job of it. What I tried to do, because I didn't know how to weld sheet metal without buckling it. I'd had attempts at it before and made a horrible mess, and buckled it all, and I only sort of recently learnt how to do that, and that's through watching YouTube videos. But yeah, so what I'd done with these originally is I overlapped them. On the underside. I stepped the flue panel down to go underneath it, so that it was sort of fairly level, and put plug welds in it. And yeah, what happened, probably lasted 10 years or so, but yeah, eventually all this putty that I put over it cracked because there's movement in it. So I've gone along, cut them all out, and then grinded all that's a major problem in itself. Yeah, getting rid of plug welds, they're way harder than spot welds to clean up and get rid of. And yeah, so I'll cut it out, I'll straighten it out. It's not perfect, there's still sort of highs and lows in it, but it's fairly close. Got to come up a little bit here. But yeah, I've started tacking it in. When I first got these flue panels too, like I bought these from Rare Spares, and you don't get any template or anything. They could provide a paper template of where the flute panels actually fit, but there's nothing, and all I had to go off was pictures on the internet, because I didn't even have YouTube then. But, I was looking at pictures on the internet and trying to gauge the distance from here to here and the distance from here to here just by pictures of other cars. And so I've got it sort of to where it looks the same. The important thing, if you're doing this, is that these are parallel by measurement. That's the important thing. And of course, like, your distance from here to here has to be sort of something like it's supposed to be. But yeah, that's the important thing, is to have these lines parallel. So anyway, so yeah, I've started redoing it, and I'm sort of straightening it, lining it up as I go. I started with the four corners. Mind you, I had to cut one corner off too, because this was up a bit and it wouldn't push down until I'd cut that corner back out again. But what I'm doing here is I'm just, wherever it's flush, I'll put a tack. See? And so this is high, that's low. And so, like, I've got that, I've tacked everywhere to begin with, where I could hold it to where it was flush, and here now, and there's still a high there. I'm still going to have to tap that down some more. This whole bit here is a little bit low. This edge is a bit higher, but anyway, we'll get to that later. I'll tap it back up. But what I found, like, a screwdriver's too big, too thick. So yeah, using a butter knife, and I pull it up till I get it flush. There's a flush somewhere beside it. Put a tack. And then if it's high there, I'll tap that down, whatever. But yeah, that's sort of what I'm doing. I'm just going around it. And the other thing too, to be, like, if you're watching channels of car building, and take notice of what sort of car they're working on. Like a lot of these channels that you see on YouTube and car builders, they're working on 30s to 50s cars, and the panel is way thicker than what these is. Like, this is 70s. This is 70s Holden. It's fairly thick. Like a 70s Jap car will be thinner again than this. So if you see them, on a 50s car doing, tack, putting another tack, another tack, another tack, 3 or 4 tacks in a row, they're getting away with that because it's way thicker than this. If you tried to do this here, you'd buckle it. for sure. You just can't do that on a thinner panel, you know. So yeah, one tack, that's it, move along. Yeah, go a few inches, do another tack, you know, and yeah, give it, yeah, make sure it's cooled down again before you put another tack anywhere near it. Even in the tacking, like I got a pretty big gap here, and I don't really have a choice in it. I mean, the panel was already in here; it was overlapped. I've cut it out with an angle grinder, so I've got, yeah, the gap is the thickness of the blade on the angle grinder, and there's no way around that at the moment. But it's sort of a good thing because I know I've got penetration. I know that when I grind that off, you know, I'm not just taking the weld off the top and leaving nothing underneath. This, by having a gap like this, it penetrates all the way through. It is, however, a bit difficult to weld because, you know, if you just go to put a tack, it'll just blow a hole in it. And actually, got a, yeah, there's a little spot. I can do that one-handed. I'll show you what I'm doing. And I'm not using the Welding helmet here. The simple reason is I don't have good enough vision, yeah, with the helmet on. There's a flute there. That's a nice level bit. So I'll show you what I'm doing. What I'm going to do, right, and it's good when you got, it's a little ball bit hanging off the end. That's really helpful. Okay, well, which spot was I going to do? That one. Right, so what to do is you load it up first. Right, so get it there, point it right where I want it to go. Right, close my eyes. Right, just drop a bit on, do it again. You've got an even bigger ball on there now. Right, once you've got a ball on there, yeah, then you can do a big attack. That wasn't the greatest example either. Try that again. Yeah, so that one's straight off. And that's how you fill the gap. Yeah. So if I just try and, yeah, do a proper tack straight off, I'll show you what happens. Just blows a big hole. So build it up first. Build it up and then put a bigger weld on it to make sure it's melted in. Yeah. Anyway, I should continue with that. I've had to cut. There's a piece off here. It had a patch in the corner. I don't know if that's one of my patches. Probably is. But yeah, it had also rusted away a bit further on underneath where the patch was. And yeah, I'd when I was out in the bush getting firewood at one time, I caught that on a rock, and this was all bent up and busted. And yeah, as I said, yeah, then I've had a bit of rust hole and bodgy old patch, so I'll cut that whole piece off, and of course I've got to get that on the car now to finish that off, because it's now I gotta make this patch line up with all the bolt holes, line up straight with the sill this way, and etc. etc. Yeah, even in here, yeah, just here, this was actually broken right through, and this was a movement in it like that. And so all I've done is I've just pulled it back together. I closed up the crack, and I welded it. But whether that's right or not, I won't know till I actually try it on the car. Although Yeah, I suppose that doesn't have to match up to anything. What it does have to do. So I'm hoping that this edge here is straight, but there's a bend here, a curve here, which goes through at this angle. I think it lines up with the ear by the look of it. So yeah, I won't know if I've got that in line, like in line this way or that way. It's got to be straight in line with this car, the curve. So yeah, I'll weld it up, and yeah, when it comes time to panel beating it and getting it straight, I'll have to put it on the car and see how it goes. But yeah, anyway, I've got a long process, and I've got to do this twice because the same thing. I did the flute panel on the other guard in the exact same way, and that's cracking as well. But the other guard's pretty cactus anyway. It was never straight on the top here. Well, I've got another guard, that was a freebie given to me, and that's straight along the top. It's never been repaired. There's no bog in it, and I know that this top curve is good on the other guard. However, it's rusted down the bottom. It's got damage to the arch up the front. And of course I've got to change the flute panel over. So yeah, what I'm going to do on the other one is I'll cut the actual flute panel out the same as I've done here. And then I'm going to cut the other guard along this edge, right up here, down along this wheel edge. And I'll cut the other panel off the other guard, and I'll use that as a template. I'll be able to sit that on the new old guard, the guard I'm replacing it with, and be able to mark exactly where I got to cut it out for the flute panel. So. But yeah, got a bit of work ahead of me, and yeah, so thing you get a lot with cars is you want to do something and you can't do that until you've done half a dozen other things, So, as I said, I want to get the motor fired up, running. I want to hear it running. I've just spent $3.5 grand, rebuilding this engine. I can't do that till I've painted the firewall. I can't paint the firewall until I've fixed up these panels. I can't fix up them panels without having the whole front end on. So, yeah. But, anyway, thanks for watching, and yeah, we'll take a few more videos and keep you up to date on how it's going. Okay, thanks for watching. I'll catch you later. Bye.